Hello, everyone, and welcome to Growth Room Podcast, where we ask questions people are often afraid to ask and have honest conversations that help us grow personally and professionally. Today's episode is part of our special series, What If I Had 5 Minutes? Our guest here is Ross Thorpe, CEO of Rooverse, the social media platform built to keep people interacting with people by blocking AI-generated content. As artificial intelligence reshapes the way we communicate, connect, and consume information, an important question emerges: how do we preserve authentic human connection? So let's explore that and discover the one message Ross would leave with the world if he had only 5 minutes. So let's dive in. So now, Ross, let's dive into the big question, and also welcome to Growth Room Podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So if truly you had just 5 minutes, what would you say?
It's a very interesting question. So my response would be this, is that imagine you were walking to a business meeting and you had a brand new suit on. You've just bought a brand new suit for this business meeting, and the meeting's very, very important and you could make lots of money. Now, when you're walking towards the business meeting, you walk past a pond, and in that pond is a drowning child. Now, every single one of your listeners would, without hesitation, run into the pond and save the drowning child, even though it ruins their new suit and even though they might miss their business meeting and cost them lots of money. They wouldn't hesitate. Now, fortunately, most of us don't walk past drowning children every day, but that doesn't mean there isn't a child drowning somewhere in the world. And what I think everyone needs to do is have a sense of duty and a responsibility to leave the world a little bit better at the end of each day than when they woke up in it. Now, one of the things that we've seen with the advent of social media moving towards AI-generated content is that with 71% of the images being uploaded to social media every day being AI-generated, and some platforms 45% bots, over 50% of long-format text, mostly what people are doing when they're going onto social media for 4 to 5 hours a day is just interacting with machines. They're just interacting with either a machine bot or a machine-made image. And social media can be a hugely powerful tool for good. It can help connect people that bring light and laughter and be a vector for kindness. But that's impossible to do if the average person is spending 4 to 5 hours a day just looking at a machine, what a machine's made. There's no real difference between that and talking to your toaster, if you're, or your washing machine or your cooker. There's people are just going to be looking at what machines made. And ultimately, if we go back to the idea of the drowning child, you going onto, or your listeners going onto a social media platform that is mostly AI-generated images is not making the world a better place. And it's certainly not making the world a better place by spending 4 to 5 hours a day on that. So we created Rooverse as a way to allow people to connect with each other again. So there's no bots, there's no AI-generated content. And that means that by going onto social media and being a kind, positive person, place with your time, by connecting with other humans and helping them or sharing thoughts, ideas, giving them a boost, anything like that. So that would be my quick summary of what we're doing.
That's interesting. I've never heard of this before, and it's shocking that you have a different perspective towards the social media, because when you come to the net, everybody said AI has taken over the world, and then you are diversing into a niche whereby AI-generated content can be a part, and it's pretty interesting because people have started losing touch of what the real human connection really is, and it's a smart move, and I like that.
90% of people who go onto social media post less than once a month, and what I would encourage people to do is to get onto Rooverse and connect with people who are real people. You don't want to be online interacting with bots and machines. That's not going to help you, and it's not going to help anyone else. The other thing is that we've all been tricked by deepfakes now. We've all had a couple of examples, I'm sure everyone can think of, where they have seen a video and thought, oh, is that real? Is that not real? They've sent it to someone, and then someone says that's AI. And it's a real concern that you can't believe what you're seeing anymore. And so we wanted to make sure that people could have faith in what they're seeing a little bit by knowing it was at least made by a human being on our platform.
Hello?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you then. What was that last question?
Okay. I was asking, you said AI-generated content has made content creation easier. So, but what concerns me the most is about the direction we are heading to. Now, with excluding AI generated content, what is the goal of Rover in a more specific way?
Yeah, so our goal is for people to know that they're interacting with people. When some platforms have 45% of the users as bots, when you post a piece of content, you can't be sure that the comments you're getting or the likes you're getting are from real people. And that doesn't help build you. That doesn't help you get better at what you're trying to do. It doesn't make your content better. It doesn't help reinforce ideas that are good or give you some idea that some of your ideas are bad. And, everyone has bad ideas. So we wanted to create an area that was safe for that. So we know that AI is here and it's here to stay. And in the same way that people used to all live in cities, also you live in the countryside, and now they mostly live in cities. We are going to be living in the AI city. AI is built into almost everything we're doing every day now. But just because you live in a city, it doesn't mean you don't like going for a walk in the countryside. And Rooverse is going for a walk in the countryside. It is going for a walk in a nature reserve. It is just for human-made content. It's for artists. It's for poets. It's for, people who are creating their own videos, comedians, actors, singers, musicians, everything like that. Stuff that humanity is creating through their own ability, and that's where you can go there and know that it's made by a person.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Now I'm curious. Now, I still want to get to know more about Rovers. So, what is Rovers all about? What are the services does Rovers offer directly to consumers?
But yeah, so much like many other social media platforms, you can go on there and do text posts, post videos, post pictures. We have a messaging function on there. We have the ability to have a feed that is just chronological and people you follow, and then another section where you can explore and find other people. We have forums set up that are where to allow people to interact on particular subjects. We don't sell any of the users' data to third-party people, so there's no worry about people tracking your data. And we're ultimately just creating an area where you can put the social back into social media, as opposed to just going on there and consuming content that's been made by robots, by AI. There's no need for that. There's plenty of other social platforms that, like I said, 71% of images being uploaded are AI generated. So it gives the opportunity for people to find other people again in real life. The other thing I would say, though, is that it's really, really important to interact with other people in person. So if you have the choice ever between going on social media on any platform or going and talking to a colleague, a friend, a neighbour, a family member, a loved one, a little old lady sat at the bus stop, always choose to go and interact with a person in real life whenever you can.
Thank you so much for that. Now, is it like an app that looks closely like Rovers, or Rovers is just a unique one in itself, so that it can be relatable? Let's say I want to talk about Rovers, and there should be something I can use to make it relatable to people to understand what Rovers is all about.
Yeah, so it looks in terms of there's a feed like you'd see on many other social media platforms. There's a profile section to it where you can see all your posts. There's multiple different feeds that you can go on to. Again, messaging on there is similar to other messaging functions that you'd see on other messaging apps. There's no. It looks like in terms of appearance, like many other social media apps that you'd see. It's available to download on the App Store, the Apple Store, and the Google Store. And I'd encourage your listeners to go on there and have a look and see what they think of it.
Okay, thank you. So I have a question.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So now, as a member of the AI Trust Council, what ethical conversations do you think the public isn't paying enough attention to?
Yeah, there are a couple here. I think that businesses need to be very careful about how they're implementing AI. I think it's important to retain a human-centered feel to businesses. I think that there are some studies out of Oxford and MIT that indicate that excessive or LLM use can harm the ability for cognitive reasoning, critical thinking, a sense of ownership over your work, a sense of being able to recall your work, There's a study that shows just 10 minutes of LLM use on problem solving will make you worse at problem solving and more likely to give up on problem solving once the LLM is taken away. There's studies that indicate that once people have been exposed to a deep fake of a person or a brand, they are less willing to, their sense of trust in that brand or that person drops significantly and doesn't return to baseline in the time of the study. So people need to be very cautious when they're using AI. I think AI can absolutely do some wonderful things for the world. I think it absolutely should cure cancer. It absolutely needs to solve the environmental crisis. There's innumerate things that AI can do to make the world a better place. But I think people need to be very cautious about it. And it's not, the more you outsource something for you, the worse you get at that thing. So if you used to walk everywhere and then you buy a car, and you stop walking everywhere because you're driving everywhere, you are going to get more unfit. It's not rocket science. And I think people need to be cautious about how much they're using AI in that capacity.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. This question I'm going to ask now. Now, you've said, why was it important for you to create a platform that blocks AI-generated content instead of simply labeling it? Now, when you post on Instagram, you often, if it's an AI-generated image, there's this tagging or labeling that it's an AI-generated content. But why, instead of doing it that way, why do you go for the other? And what are ways that people can enjoy using Rovers? Because apparently a lot of persons are lazy. So how do we deal with that?
Yeah, so the Instagram point there is it's not a requirement. So you don't have to label your content as AI generated. It's an option, which means that there's still the ability to trick people with AI-generated content. The other thing is that you've got getting people to use Rooverse. I think they need to go on and try the platform, and they need to wake up to the idea that by just watching AI-generated content, all they're doing is looking at their cooker or their washing machine or their toaster. There's no difference. It's just machine-generated noise. There's no true substance behind what's being generated by a machine.
Lastly, for young entrepreneurs and creators listening today, how can they stand out in a world increasingly filled with AI-generated content? And looking in the next 5 to 10 years, what kind of digital world do you hope we create?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. So the AI Trust Council is there to govern something called TEEP, which is made by the AILab.org. And that allows all content creators to label their content as either human-generated or AI-generated content. What that also does is it puts an indelible mark on that content so that they retain ownership over that content over time. So if you are a content creator or an entrepreneur, I highly, highly recommend going on to the IOLab.org and signing up for the TEEP protocol and labeling your content with that. I think that's going to be completely essential in the coming age. There's another organization called Scroll Aware that has a very frightening statistic, which is that the average 18-year-old now will spend 25 years of their life scrolling on their phone.
Yeah.
The average 18-year-old will spend 25 years of their life scrolling on their phone. Now, in the old world, that would have meant that they would have died with more of other people's memories in their head than their own. But in the age we're moving into now, when the vast majority of what people see in most places online that isn't marked by TEEP, via the AILab.org or by Rooverse, they are now going to die with memories in their head that have been created by a machine rather than just another person, or memories they've generated for themselves. And so I think everyone needs to have a sense of responsibility and agency to ensure that they are protecting themselves from that scenario.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool so much for that. Thank you for sharing your perspective on one of the biggest conversations shaping our future and something that would really think about. And thank you for bringing our minds to it. And to everyone listening, this episode challenged the way you think about AI, social media, or the value of authentic human connection. It with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, technology should serve humanity, not replace it. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep asking the questions that matter.